Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another brand new video. Today we got a new install for the bike. You guys know a little cinematic from the start of the video I was doing on the end of this tail here. Now, as you guys have seen in the previous videos, I've installed so far the rear view mirrors, the front fairing, and then now it is time for the tail tidy. So before we start this video, I'd like to give a huge thank you to New Rage Cycles. So I now have a sponsorship with their company. They sell a variety of tail tidies, tail lights, and other motorcycle products. So if you guys are interested in their products, go down into the link in the description to their website, and you guys can use code GRIFF for 20% off of any purchases you guys make. So here's the box that the new tail light slash tail tidy comes in. Let's open this thing up. I've already looked at this, but I actually haven't opened the box that's inside of this yet. So this is the first time I've seen the product as well. So this kit is called the Fender Eliminator Kit from New Rage Cycles for the F900R. This kit works from the years 2020 to current for the BMW F900R. Essentially going to eliminate the huge whale tail on the back of the bike and replace it with this super sleek and clean overall finish of a plate frame as well as a tail light and turn signal. I left my small tool bag in the F30, so I'm gonna grab that really quick. Alright you guys, so the first step of the installation here, we're gonna go ahead and grab our key fob, insert it into the side of the bike here, give it a turn. That's gonna unlock a latch that's in the back of the seat here, and then you're gonna just wanna pull up on it and easily remove the seat, just like that. Next step is to remove the tool carrier, lift up through this hole here, and pull straight out. Next step is going to be removing these side panels that are painted. In order to do so, you're going to need a T25 Torx, and you're going to be removing this bolt, this bolt, this bolt, and this bolt. Once you guys have gone ahead and removed those Torx 25s, these side painted pieces have a little tab on the bottom, so in order to get them off, you're going to want to pull backwards and then pull out. That will release this clip here, and this will easily come off. When it comes to this side, since this side has the keyhole on it, you guys are going to run into a problem where the latch on the back is on here. For right now, I'm going to leave that as it is and see if I can work around it just so I don't have to unhook it and then hook it again later. But I might take that off in a little bit if I have to, and I'll update you guys once I know. Next step, after removing the painted side pieces, this one can stay by the way for at the moment, there's going to be a T25 here as well as a T25 right there on the bottom. Go ahead and remove both of those T25s, which will then release this whole plastic piece on the side, and repeat that on the other side as well. Next step, we are going to be finally removing the old tail section. So in order to do so, you're going to be removing 1, 2, and 3 bolts. This bolt and this bolt are T30s, and this back one here is a T25. Once those 4 T25s have been removed, this tail is going to drop, and as you guys can see on the bottom here, there are now 5 more T25s. Go ahead and unscrew these so you can separate the 2 sections of the tail. Alright, the next step for the process is going to be removing the wiring on the back of the harness. So there's going to be this one on the left side, which is inside of this here, and then there's going to be this harness which is on the right side inside of this clip right here. So those two sit parallel like that, and then there's a third one which sits clipped in on the back there. So what you guys can do is go ahead and unclip this so it's off, and then unclip this so it's out, and unclip this so it's out, and then there's going to be a zip tie that's holding these wires to it. Just cut that zip tie off so you have some more slack, and then go ahead and remove all of these connections by releasing the tabs on the sides here, and then on the back one here you can flip it over and there's going to be a tab on the back which you squeeze and pull out like this. Just like that, we have all 3 of the previous connectors disconnected. Now before installing the new taillight, we're going to go ahead and plug in the turn signals and test that they work to ensure that we don't install it and it doesn't work. Just got the new turn signal on there, so now I can test it. We're going to go ahead and start up the bike electronically, and then we can go ahead and test out the turn signals. There's the left one, and there's the right one. And while you guys also have the bike apart, make sure that you plug in the taillight and make sure that you turn on the bike to see that it operates the daytime running light, and then as well as the brake light. So as you guys can see, there's the daytime running light, and if I go ahead and hit the brakes, it gets bright. Same with the front brake. So we know that is good. If you guys are confused on what this extra little white plug is for, that's going to be for the license plate light, which we will install in a little bit. Alright you guys, so it is probably about a half an hour later now of me trying to figure out how this whole rear section goes together. I was watching the video from New Rage Cycles themselves, but they didn't actually show which bolts you're supposed to use for which spot. So I'll show you guys how to do that to make sure you guys don't get confused like I did. But essentially the first step here is to tuck away those wires that were hanging down on the back. Go ahead and tuck them inside the seat here. As you guys can see, I just used these holes just on the edge here and let them sit in there now, so it's all tucked in and nice. Now I'm going to show you guys how to assemble this rear section. So first things first, go ahead and grab your turn signal. This is going to be the one with 2 wires coming out of it. What we're going to be doing with the turn signal is mounting this plate frame to it. So what you're going to want to do is grab the 2 black ones that are the longer ones. So you guys can see there is this size, and then there is also this size. So see how this one is a little bit longer than this one? You're going to want to take these 2 longer screws, so this one, and this plate frame is then going to sit on top of these 2 screws. But you guys may be wondering, what is this extra screw here? Take one of the longer screws and feed it through there, otherwise it's not going to be able to clear that once you put the plate frame on. You'll see what I mean in a second. Now that we have the plate frame on there, as you guys can see, this 3rd screw right in the back is now blocked by this. That's why we inserted it before we actually put the plate frame on. So once that plate frame is on there with the spacer and the turn signals, go ahead and take these 2 flange nuts and put them on top of that to secure it together. Just like that, we have the turn signal, the plate frame, as well as this screw sticking out of there. We threaded that one through ahead of time just because it wouldn't clear because of the plate frame. So these 3 pieces are together, including the nut, the turn signal, and the plate frame. Now, before adding this brake light on top of this, make sure that you guys have tightened down both of these top screws as well as holded down these nuts so these 2 pieces together are solid. Once those 2 nuts and bolts have been tightened down, grab your brake light and slide it over top of the turn signal, just like that. We have now stacked on top of the turn signal the brake light, so you guys can see that that is now stacked plate frame, turn signal, brake light, and they are all together on this one screw. Next, we're going to go ahead and grab these 2 longer screws that are left, and we're going to be inserting them into this side as well as this side through the bottom like this. Your spacers may look like mine, or they may be just all white like this smaller one, but it all depends. As long as they are spacers, it does not matter. So go ahead and put the small spacer on that one, and then the 2 larger spacers go on the back corners, just like that. Now that we have this whole assembly installed, we are going to be putting it on the bike. It might even be easier for you guys to just remove all of this hardware from these 2 side slots and then just rethread it. So the screw goes through, then the spacer, and then it goes through the bike, and then it hooks on top with one of the nuts. So I'm going to go ahead and secure it on both sides. I have now threaded in both the middle one and the side one and the other side one, so now I'm going to go and tighten these down all the way. Once everything has been tightened down, the rear tail section is completely done and installed. Now the only new part we have to install is this rear undercover, and this essentially sits down here, but there is a problem with this. The only thing this thing comes with is some double-sided tape that doesn't seem very good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill out these holes that are a little bit bigger, and then I'm going to use these screws here that I have left over to poke through, and then I'm also going to drill a hole in the inside of the seat, and then I'm going to clamp it with a nut on the back, because this thing, I've heard in the reviews, flies off because nobody actually secures it properly. Most of the time people just use the sticky tape. So I'm going to go do that right now, and I'll check in with you guys once I'm done. Alright, so as you guys can see, if you take a look right down in there, I drilled a small hole on that side as well as this side. What I did was I went through the bottom of the bike and drilled through the actual plate frame 2 small holes, which were right here and right here on the other side, so that way I'm able to secure this metal bracket a lot better. And then I'm also going to utilize the double-sided sticky tape for this stuff back here, but with those 2 screws on either side, it's going to be solid. Now I've also added some of my own double-sided sticky tape in the middle there, just so it's able to adhere to the back of this part a little bit better, just to be a little bit extra safe. Alright you guys, I have now completely installed that belly pan. So you can see on the side there's 1 screw there and 1 screw there, and then those go through the bottom plate as well as the inside of the bike, which lead down to right there. Kind of tough to see, but there's that nut right there, and then on the other side there's another nut right there. So this thing is sandwiched on the bike, so this is really not going to come off at all. So now that everything has been installed, the taillight, the plate frame, as well as the belly pan, we can go ahead and start reassembling the bike. First things first, I'm going to reinstall my tool bracket just so I can hide all of that wire mess. Alright you guys, so just close the garage because it's already getting dark outside, but essentially the whole bike is complete with the new mod of the taillight, tail tidy, whatever you want to call it. Now the next step is to install the rest of the bike back together. In order to do so, just reinstall everything in the order that you took it apart. So first with the side panels, then the painted parts, then the seat. Now the first step in the reinstallation process is going to be taking these black side pieces and reinstalling them on the side with the 2 screws that sit in right here as well as down here. Install this side, do the same thing on the other side. Just to mention, these are also a T25. Just like that, we have both side panels back on the bike on both sides. And now the next step is going to be securing these painted pieces. So as you guys know, I left this one on there just to make it easier on myself. So I'm just going to put in the screw right there, and then the same on the other side. And now the painted pieces are on. So now we got the painted pieces, the side pieces, and the whole installation of the new tail tidy. The last and final step is going to be installing the seat. Now installation on the seat is just as easy as it came out. Slide in the front and push down the back. And there you have it guys. The new taillight is completely installed. It is completely dark outside and I'm in the garage, so I'll see you guys in the morning and you guys can get a better look at it. Alright everybody, that's going to conclude today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please make sure to leave it a like and consider subscribing. I'd like to give a huge thank you once again to New Rage Cycles, the sponsor of this video. If you guys are interested in any motorcycle products such as tail lights, turn signals, tail tidies, or plate frames, I would suggest to go check them out. Their products are amazing and they also look amazing. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave it a like and consider subscribing. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace out.